I will learn along the way. Yeah, Bimbo Ademoye, I think I know that one. I know that song. That one. Bimbo Ademoye has pushed back, I beg your pardon, against suspected thugs who stormed her outdoor film set demanding money. In a viral clip, the actress refused to be intimidated, insisting she would not yield to extortion despite her willingness to support people around her. The incident highlights ongoing concerns over harassment of film crews, which is driving many producers away from outdoor locations. Ah, the woman Faria, they say, what do you call it, almost street, me. He pull away for them. He's an interesting character. I think he does a lot of comedy sketches and all that. I think with JK and all that. You know her, right?
No, I don't. But I dare say
Oh,
this has been happening. What happened to her has been happening to a lot of artists. Funke Akindele once
yeah,
complained.
yeah, yeah. It is true. It is true. Well, you're not neighbor. Can't even be shut up. I, I wish, I wish I could. I love such area. Somebody wakes me up apart from the telephone. Great thing. Now let's move on. Banky W says he handles cooking at home. Singer and pastor. Banky W says he does most of the cooking at home, not in Adesua Etomi. He explained that their arrangement works for them and should not be judged by outsiders. He added that after witnessing his wife endure years of fertility struggles and medical procedures, acts of service like cooking come naturally to him. Why should we care about whether they're judging or not? I mean, I like cooking. Once in a while, I cook for my wife and even the children. They sometimes doubt my culinary expertise.
Uh,
Sometimes I pull things out of the. I dazzle them with some cooking. You know, the woman has gone through a lot, I understand from the I've read, and the man is chipping in to help her. And some are complaining. I don't know why people even respond to complaints of
you
others
you
about their own
you
life.
know what's going to follow this broadcast, don't you? We're going to have a whole
Yes.
gamut of women accusing their men. I'm sure if my wife hears
Of
this
course,
now, she's going to come at me.
they ought to. What you know, because I love helping in the kitchen a lot. It makes the food sweeter and comes out faster, and then everybody enjoys it. I don't know. He says somebody's eyeing you. Alex, Alex, there is trouble this today. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to help. Be supportive. It doesn't take anything out of you.
Hmm.
You know. Okay. Lessons learned there. hmm hmm Okay. Our next story says this is a joyous one. Nollywood couple Lateef Adedimeji and Mo Bimpe have welcomed triplet boys, describing the moment as a major blessing. The announcement comes nearly 5 years after their wedding and follows years of public speculation about parenthood. The news has triggered widespread celebration among fans and colleagues. And I heard that there were a lot of snide remarks, some raucous, banal statements accusing her, blaming her of barrenness and all sorts of that, and then putting them
Oh
in
my
all
God.
kinds of stress for over 3 or 4 years. Ah, people are mindlessly wicked. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know. I mean, yeah, had miscarriages, if you have suffered a lot of blood loss and all that, what she's gone through, that you're just abusing her. Ah, hmm,
Whenever I come
anyway.
across people doing that on the social media, I normally go against them and, try and set them right. Why should you be doing this?
Hmm. Yeah, it's so bad. I don't have your energy. Oh. I just close the page, right?
Oh, I
And I
go
always
for
feel,
them.
I,
I,
you like trouble. You love trouble somehow,
yeah,
especially online one.
I like to
To
show
set
them
people.
how they are thinking and how ridiculous it
Mm,
is. You know,
I hope. I hope it works. I hope they change. Because some of those things I read. Oh, my advice always to the victim or to the unfortunate recipient of those backlash is just ignore them. Shut down your social media. You don't have to go there. If you don't see, you won't know. You won't feel it. Just shut it down and ignore them. Go on with your life. The other day, it was Simi and Adekunle Gold and all that kind of stuff. You had their
oh my
baby watching their
God, they came at them on Twitter. They did all kinds of things.
knocking them.
It
You
was.
know, I know I'm watching them. You see, it's a matter of time. Some other wave will come and they will
In
close
fact,
it.
I did. When it
After
was
that,
Adekunle Gold and Simi, I also intervened at a point, and I told them that look, for heaven's sake, these people are married. Respect them. Leave them alone. What's all this? You know.
I, I don't blame. It's the democratization of the media space. That is the
But
problem.
another
Everybody
thing,
can just come out and
I
say
believe
anything they like. Until
I
it is.
believe celebrities should try and keep their families in the background. They shouldn't put their lives out there. That's
Out
another
of public.
angle.
I don't know why they do that. Yeah, you're right. You see them with they open their tummies, showing their belly, so that what? So that they can help you deliver or give you another. I don't know. I don't know why the fascination with exposing themselves. I mean, one of our stories will bear that. I mean, we'll come to it later. Let us go on. There's this about Bella Smolder. It says the music is more than entertainment. Afrobeat singer Bella Shmurda says music is more than entertainment, describing it as warfare and a tool for social progress. He noted that music can uplift emotions, shape society, and help people cope with life's pressures. He also said fatherhood has made him more mindful of the content he creates. Great for you. I hope many of you are fighting musically because after the demise of Fela Kuti and the struggles of Femi and the antics of Seun, Lagbaja's have mellowed down. Colinton hardly plays studio albums or
Yeah.
anything like that.
You know,
Who else is making?
we're missing the element of social consciousness in our music these
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah. All these other boys, they always singing about women, about genitalias, covetousness and all that. They just tantalize. I pray that they listen to themselves and help this society because there's so much to do. The way
Yeah.
our people apply ourselves to things
You know,
nowadays. So
it takes you to the debate of art. Should art be for art's sake, or should art play a corrective role in society?
it has to. It has to impact the society. You know, it has to impact the society. Art is playing life. So life is real. There are certain issues within life that need to be dealt with, and art should be to commit itself to some of these aspects. Of course, let it be entertaining. Let it be melodious. Let it be fun and entertaining. You know, but speak to the matter, touch their heart, because as they say, it's the heart of the man is through food, and the soul of the people is through music. So you put your best foot
Yeah.
in,
And
to make
when
them dance.
you look at music generally, those songs that rarely become evergreen are the ones that are as deep as that, They address issues that concern people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's let's take a break. And some cup of tea and come back with the second part of entertainment news. Why do you name a song Demon? You know, this is Zlatan featuring King Madi. What does it mean? Demon. Okay, let's dive. You know Solomon Akiyesi.
No, I don't.
If you see his face, you probably would know. One of the early ones. I think it was in Ripple, all those early series, and early part of
Okay.
Nollywood. If you see his name, his face, you will remain chubby chap like this. He
If he
died.
was in Ripples,
You know?
oh dear. If he was in Ripples, I'll likely know him.
Yeah, you likely know. I
Hmm.
think he was in Ripple. All this early Amaka
Please
Igwe.
give me a minute. I'll be back.
Okay.
Do you remember the role that he played? The man that died. Do you remember the role he played? Hello? Oh, the network.
No, the get you. Yeah, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I was asking if you know the role of the man that died in Ripples.
No, I can't remember. His name is uh Solomon Akiyesi, Akiyesi.
Okay.
Solomon
Uh,
Akiyesi. If you type
okay.
his name, you get it.
Uh, I'll check it.
Okay, I'll just flip over the story and give you time to go through. I'll take one other story before that, and then you can have time to go through it. We're
Where
back,
is
and
it?
this is still the show. And Alex Ogundadegbe is still with me. Uh, we are on entertainment update, and our next story is from veteran actor Vitalis Ndubuisi, who was advised against oversharing personal struggles. He said people often expect relief after opening up, but may end up disappointed or even distant. According to him, some challenges are better handled privately rather than publicly. That's a sound advice. It's not everything you show the public or you tell the public. I mean, there are occasions or situations when you can't help yourself. You are overwhelmed. Help is not coming, and then you surrender yourself to the will of the people and pray that they are compassionate and supportive and all that. But why tell people you are going through this? You lost this. Yeah, you miscarried the last year. You had this. You say all sort of things are needless. It's not as if they are going to do anything good to you about it. Rather, they will say things that will demoralize you, and will make you regret ever opening up. I don't see the social media as being a therapist, couch potato kind of a thing. It's not. It's never therapeutic. It's just a bunch of problems over problems escalating all over the place. Right? So manage your struggle and, uh, and continue to pray and hope and work hard towards overcoming it. Not telling everybody and it becomes viral and then they start making fun, mockery of you and all that. And I'm wondering why are people so wicked? That's their own. That's the way. That's the window they have to express, to vent out their frustration. You know, I read someone the other day. One man was lamenting, why is Davido always talking about his father's billions and all that stuff? In fact, how many billionaires are got their billions in a how do you call it ethical way and all that? And if not for this and that and that and that, that made them billionaires, and to the detriment of millions of other people suffering and all that. Will they be? Will they be? So you should just shut up and stop talking us about the father's wealth and all that. And another person say, another billionaire son, Kid Wire replied, say, if your father had billions, you will not be typing all this rubbish from your one pot or one, what's it called, it, single gas space, whatever. And he showed his picture in a private jet while he was eating. I said, why? I don't see life. They don't care about you. They don't care about your this. Just move on with your life. You know. The guy showed me say, if you had that kind of billions, will you keep quiet? Won't you talk about your father's bill? The message is lost somewhere there. Okay.
Well, when you
Uh,
look at it,
yeah,
whatever they talk
yes.
about, they've criticized. Whether they talk about life or politics or economy or their own family, people will still come after them, no matter what.
No matter what. No matter what. Because that's the only avenue, or the avenue to say something, either to hurt you or to pain you or to just say anything. Some people say things on that thing that looks like, what are they discussing? What are you showing? So that he can count how many people are responding to him. Say, I got about 35 responses. One day I was in class, training, and one of the students just started jumping up and he became excitable, and she couldn't control himself. I said, "What happened? Why are you suddenly in this state?" I said, "Her video reached 1 million." I said, 1 million. 1 million. You got 1 million naira? No, it's a 1 million views. She was so excited. I said, "Let me see what got 1 million." It was having either pepper or oil in a pot. They are pouring it in another place. That's all I could see. And that one,
Oh, God.
oh, I said, "This is a 1 million." I said, "Yes." I said, "Wow, okay." I gave her a phone back, and I minded my own business. Oh my, yeah, the things that go for fun or entertainment in this era. Huh.
But
Anyway,
you know, ironically, even on the social media, there are some people who are doing serious things and they're really breaking barriers.
mm,
There's a chap called Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek. He's a marketing consultant, stroke leadership coach. He did one clip in 2024 and got 150 million hits.
Wow.
150 million. And when you think of it, he
Wow.
wasn't doing entertainment. It wasn't pornography or music,
Well,
because sadly to say,
mm,
those are the things that have the highest hits. You know?
catch the attention.
Yeah.
Mm, mm. Oh, I see. Okay. One more story before we talk about the sad occurrence. Let's see. Actress and producer Mary Njoku has criticized what she calls the small mindset limiting Nigerian industries. She said sectors are too focused on local rivalry instead of global competition, urging greater collaboration and a shift towards building bigger, internationally competitive platforms. Yeah, she's on a sure ground. Why compete with yourself? I mean, why rival yourself? Try to demarket yourself when you can collaborate and aim for bigger markets and all that. I think it's a sound advice. What do you think?
Yeah. Very sound. I mean, one gateway to globalization we have is our culture, our movies, and our music, projecting it outward. If you see what Netflix has done for our movies, for instance, we're now on the international scene. And if you see what Afrobeat has also done for our music, so why should
Yeah,
we be petty and be competing locally?
yeah, yeah. There are bigger fights outside there. Come together and try and win the world. Go global, not local. Local champion fighting over small talk and all that. Now, this is about revelation again that we're talking about. Actress Shem Oshigbeson, I believe, uh, her husband has shared an emotional tribute at her 40th birthday, recalling years of hardship in their early marriage. He said she carried most financial responsibilities for 7 years and even improvised with black nylon as diapers during difficult times. The story has
Wow.
resonated widely as a testament to sacrifice and resilience. Hmm. Uh, every success
Mm.
story has very humble beginnings. So, some, some terrible mm, intersections or junctions of life. All right?
Yeah.
Sure?
And you know the stereotype of the average woman of today. The stereotype is
Mm,
not so good. They believe that the
mm,
man should be able to carry burdens, and if he's not doing it right, even if it's not due to any fault of his, then he's to blame. That's the stereotype of
mm,
the average woman
mm.
today.
That's right. That's right. Okay, our last story is a sad one. Veteran Nollywood actor and producer Solomon Akiyesi has died. The Actors Guild of Nigeria confirmed he passed away in Abuja after reportedly going to bed and not waking up. He featured
Oh
in
my
over
God.
100 films, with tributes pouring in from across the industry. We can only commiserate with the family. He was a good guy, irresponsible, always professional. You don't you won't hear things about him that is distasteful or unprofessional and all that. It's just a sad one. So I was asking, you remember him, Alex?
No, I don't. I've been, Ripples is one of the first soap operas that really made an impact in Nigeria. And
Yeah,
according
not
to the period it ran, it was one of the longest running too. In fact, I remember Zebejiro saying That's one of his
It is
achievements,
the
having one of the longest running, and having an actor in it who made such an impact, starring in over 100 movies. I mean, that is an enviable contribution to our arts in Nigeria.
yeah. I'm trying to get some kind of discography around. Um, it was known for Deadly Affair 95, Gen Z Wild 2024. Uh, uh, Maybe I didn't get adequate information about that. Olaide, the teacher girl.
Mm.
Yeah,
The
and
dates you're reeling off tell us he was in Nollywood right from the beginning. You know, Nollywood
beginning,
began
yeah,
essentially in the early 90s.
yes, 92 according to them, 92 to be precise. Uh, yeah, Akiyesi was quite a number of, I think it's from Akoko Edo in Edo, uh, friendly. Oh, I think he started his career mid to late 90s, so he probably would not be in Rapos. I don't think he was in Rapos. They speak about things like the most clear, I mean, clearly obvious one is Deadly Affair, Kiss My Pain, Joy of Nakasha, uh, Pretty Liar, Desperate Ladies, and all that. You know, but I know him. I know, I mean, not personally, but I know of him. He looks like a good actor. May his
Mm.
soul find rest, eternal rest.
Amen.
And
Amen to that.
yeah. Okay, we'll take a short break, and it's not as if we've done anything wrong, but I want to play this latest I can play song. I've read some claim, finally claim about it. It's titled Forgiveness. Let's see how it goes.
Uh, I don't know. Does Nollywood have a Hall of Fame?
Ah, I'm not sure. I read something. I'm not sure. Except we check. I'm not sure.
They need to
There was
have
a time.
something like
The time somebody muted the idea. I don't know if it held.
mm.
Politics will not let them. Politics will not let them do that.
They need to have a Hall of Fame. Then they need to have a location where artists' names and pictures are mounted, so that people can remember them and all that.
Yeah,
Uh, you know,
like the Hollywood work. Mm.
yeah, Hollywood Boulevard in California, where you have the names of artists with a star mounted on the floor.
Yeah, I know. I think they have what they call Hollywood Nollywood's Hall of Fame. It was they did the first show. I can't remember when. There are a lot of their veterans that were inducted. I don't think
Okay.
it's a, it's a well established monument as such, but they did something like that a couple of times. Nollywood Hall of Fame and all that.
Mm.
They
So
don't
that even
did, I think
while
it was
while these actors are alive, they can honor them. Don't have to wait
yeah,
till they pass on.
that yeah. Okay, we're going back. We're still here. This is the Vintage Talk Show, and I'm still with Alex Ogundadegbe. And it's time to move on to our main segment, talking about trending news within the week, this outgoing week. We call it Niger Trend. It's time you can join us, respond to what we share here that you find intriguing or worrisome. I know. You want to contribute your views or your comments. The number to call is 0913-697-3485. The number to call is 0913-697-3485. Please, we do not want to talk politics per se. We would probably prefer that we speak it in connection with governance. How does it affect the people? How does it protect the country? How does it help our situation and all that? We just had May 1 yesterday, and there are all kinds of vituperations against the government policies, against lamenting the problems and sufferings of workers and all that, you know. And yesterday I was telling my children who are within the working community. I'm not wishing you work happy workers day. You are not a worker. You are an employee. Because worker now in Nigeria has become something else. You know, and what else
Yeah.
you are there, that so that you can become an employer. And workers are suffering everywhere in the world, and because the economic of scale and production pits the workers against the owners. It's never a fair game. Anyway, so we like your call. Let's be brief, concise, and do not be abusive or pass speculation as a fact. And then we'll speak as best as we can uh, to the matter and stay on the line. Okay, we'd love to join you. Let's start with our story, and it has to do with let's see. Let's see. Of course, the big story is about uh, the two story on the Supreme Court thing. First one, the Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained INEC from recognizing Congress is organized by disputed ABC leadership. That was earlier in the week. He appraised the tenure of the existing state executives and ruled that only constitutionally recognized structures can conduct party congresses. Then later in the week, I think on Thursday, the Supreme Court voids the Ibadan Convention of PDP. I beg your pardon, and nullified the 2025 convention in that state. The ruling it was held in defiance of a succeeding court order. The Apex Court condemned the action as an abuse of judicial process and a threat to the rule of law, deepening the party's internal crisis. Immediately, the Wadada led, I think Wadada was Wabara led BOT claimed that they would take over the leadership And the wicket comes shot immediately afterwards. And no, there's no vacuum in leadership. They can't take over. It doesn't seem as if it's going to end. Then later in the day, a few hours
Uh,
after, the Supreme Court ruled that and set aside the troublesome Latin the Latin word or the Latin phrase that been giving Nigerians headache in the past 2 or 3 weeks. The status quo antebellum, that order is set it aside, holding that such preservative directives cannot stand once proceedings are concluded. The decisions effectively restores the recognized leadership structure and then, of course, limits on judicial interim orders in political disputes. Bosun is not here. Maybe we step down some of part of the argument until he comes, if he does. Because I asked immediately asked, what does this mean? And the person said, "What? It doesn't mean that anybody has won. That they have just moved that the case should go back to the High Court, because and they dismissed the order of the Court of Appeal, which insisted that should be uh, a status antebellum. I mean, stayed before the whole problem started, and politicians are having problem about where does the stay end? Is it David's time or Bamford? I mean, the other chapter, I was so confusing, and I said, okay, they are going back to the original court, and so they resumed that case. So that is still lingering. But interestingly, INEC reportedly has reinstated and reinserted the names of David Mark and Raoul Vareboshola into their portal as leaders of ABC. I don't mean, how do you see all this scenario? It's so confusing and all that.
it is. It is. I like to look at it from a general point of view. It's a bit scary and confusing when courts get involved in the political process when it comes to, internal party affairs. They make it more complex and complicated. I believe at the party level, there has to be a way of resolving all these conflicts. And when you see it happening on a grand scale, close to an election like that, a lot of conspiracy theories emerge. Speaking generally, we need viable opposition in the polity. We can't afford for just one party to stand and dominate affairs without having proper opposition so that issues are balanced and we see things from different perspectives. I would like to have a situation where the courts are not involved in all this.
Hmm.
If the parties can put up mechanisms that will enable them resolve all these issues internally, you're going to see a peaceful polity. But at the end of the day, we all know what it is. It's all a competition for power. Who's in charge? Who controls what? That's the bottom
Hmm.
line of it all.
Okay, I think I will just tarry and see whether Bosun will join us to give us some legal clarification about the status of the status quo, so to speak. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. But it's commendable that INEC restored the name.
Well,
They must have.
if they didn't, you know what it would mean? It will make the next election look a little lopsided. They have to find a way to resolve it.
It will bad for democracy. I mean, you can't have one person and some persons that have never won elections in their life, who have not won in their local government, competing with the incumbent. It will look so farcical, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, that
In fact, I
we
don't
thank God.
envy the current INEC chairman. I don't envy him at all.
Oh, you need to be here last week. The sort of the reaction to the attempt of INEC to exonerate their chairman of those
Mm.
those online stuff. It's
all
not a good thing. It's
all
not a good
kinds of
option.
conspiracy theories are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's keep that in abeyance and move on to the lamentation of the labor leaders yesterday. Nigerian labor unions have criticized government claims of economic progress, saying hardship continues to worsen for ordinary citizens. At May Day celebrations yesterday, they warned that rising poverty, insecurity, and inequality could trigger nationwide action, including a possible directive for workers to stay home. Talks on a new minimum wage are expected to begin in July. Ah, it's so. I mean, the president also appears to be in tune with this. He just announced, I think I read late yesterday, about making insecurity and poverty a state of emergency kind of a thing. I think about that.
Mm.
This should have been done like 10 years ago, But better late than never. The problems are still on ground, and
They are, yeah.
life life in Nigeria is quite difficult. You can't sugarcoat it. And who do you blame? It's the government. That you blame eventually. The box stop at their table, right? Now, look at fuel
We
now. It's threatening to go to 1,004 per liter. How do you sustain? What kind of life is that?
I was having a debate with someone over the oil price, the pump price going up, and he was passing, vituperations. He was abusing Trump from Nigeria here. And I said, look, my friend, there are nations in the world today who have found ways to insulate their populace from this price
Anyways,
hike. What are we doing in Nigeria? Why are you thinking so lazily? You know, there have to be ways to control it. The UK has introduced a subsidy. They brought the price down. The countries that produce it on a large scale have what they call a reserve. Where is Nigeria's reserve? When the price
hmm,
is high, you open your reserve to stabilize the market. What are we doing
yeah,
here? you
hmm.
know so you see, you find that people are not really thinking and doing the proper analysis, and it's so painful.
They only have silos for fertilizers, grains, and all that. They don't have reserve of fuel. Yeah, when they can't refine it, they have to depend on the Dangote refinery. It
Can you
it
imagine?
we have to be creative in public finance and policy making. That's why people complain. And what is so worrisome and so clearly painful is that those in government don't appear to feel how we feel, how the ordinary Nigerians feel. They still live in
They
opulence.
don't.
They still
The
yeah,
truth is,
they
they
still
don't.
don't
you
feel
know
they don't appear to feel it.
they have their lives subsidized. They have almost everything subsidized, so how would they feel it?
Wow, wow. Uh, it's a bad spot to be
And
economically. And
we've although labor has its own issues, sad to say, because when you look at the role of labor in today's Nigeria, they are not really playing the role they used to. We uh, for instance, whenever I meet labor people, I ask them, what do you do with checkoffs? You know what they call checkoffs? They are
mm,
deductions that they make from workers' salaries.
yeah,
I asked them, what do
mm,
you do with that money? And they don't have viable answers. Uh,
mm,
Abroad, what they do with that money is they invest it in the welfare of the workers,
What you're
You have
saying.
health schemes, training schemes, retirement things. Here in Nigeria, the average worker only relies on his pension and gratuity at the end of the day. Labor just takes the money away. But on the other
Hmm.
side of the coin, you know, the government really is not doing what it should do. A lot of the new initiatives we see are at the macro level. They're not touching the grassroots, the micro level. Now, some economists will give you the analysis and say if the macro is strong, it will eventually trickle down to the micro. But we're not seeing that trickle down. We're not seeing it at all. And this tragedy is
Hmm.
it's only the 1% at the top, the very rich and those in power that are actually enjoying these reforms. The people at the lower
Hmm.
base are not.
You're right. Absolutely right. Okay, let's take one more story before we go on break. I'm worried about this new man. The Inspector General of Police has warned officers that misconduct and abuse of power will no longer be tolerated. Speaking at a retraining ceremony in Uyo, he said any officer who misuses firearms or engages in extortion will face immediate dismissal and prosecution. He stressed that force must only be used as a last resort, signaling a renewed push for professionalism and accountability. And I'm worried about, there's this coach that Chelsea got, Liam Rosenell, and he was very, like, he has a gift of the gab. He can speak very well, and he's always talking sweet things and all that. But the results of his game was getting poorer and poorer every time. And so when I hear the IGP to the uh, no longer accommodate and all that. And yet we see on social media, on media spaces and all that, the extortion continues, the brutality continues, the dastard killings continue. The other day, a police officer was reportedly uh, uh, facing a guy who was in handcuff, and he shot him. Yes, they said
Yeah,
they dismissed him and they protected him and all that.
I
But
saw that. I
what kind
saw
of
that.
mental frame will make you cock your gun against a man that is handcuffed, is demobilized, and you shoot him, right? To make what, to stop him from revealing certain information or what? You know, so if that kind of mentality still exists in your police force, we're in danger species. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in a very, very volatile situation. So it goes beyond this talk, Mr. IGP. You need to something drastic out of the box. You know.
Well, you know, the reality of the situation is going to take some time. When this new man came in as IG, a lot of us were excited because we know him. Uh,
Yeah.
some of our colleagues went to school with him at LASU, and because of the familiarity and proximity, there was this thought that at last we have a person there who would try to make a change. But the truth of the matter is, it's going to take longer than just a few years to really reform the Nigeria police. You can't change something that's been in existence for decades overnight. So there has to be a process, and in my view, it's going to take like 10 years. 10 years to get some people who shouldn't be there out. That's one. And secondly, bring in new people who would change the thinking and the attitude of the average policeman. It's easy to sit in one location and make proclamations. I assure you, it. will not happen overnight. That's the thing.
It will not happen overnight. But we'd like to see some serious action. Yes, they I don't know. I don't know. They tell us there will be order. Do not search people's bags. Do not open people's phones. Do not do this. Do not do that. You go on the roads, especially with these young chaps all over the place. They just from nowhere they accuse them of being Yahoo boys or being
Yeah, it's
ritual
profiling.
stuff.
They profile
You know,
people.
you're profiling, and then you begin to harass them. Then you begin to, before you know it, they're extorted. Some people were carrying POS to extract money from them, under duress, to force them to pay this. It's not right, you know. And as even as they are caught and they're exposed, you can imagine hundreds of thousands that are not that they have not been exposed like that, and it keeps on going on. You know, don't they
Mm,
have any morning parade discussion or lecture teaching them this and that and that? And you know the bad ones. Why don't you just take them preemptively, remove them from the system, and get new ones? You know, I know it's not. I mean, I know it's going to take a long time, but there has to be some kind of emergency reaction to this cankerworm. It's becoming. I mean, look at what happened during the SARS of 2020. You know, most of the reaction from the public was barbaric, but it was precipitated by what has been happening years before that. You know, when brutalities get so normalized, and any kind of reaction to it will be worse than it. We need to work on this thing. They can't go on like this. You know,
mm.
I'm freeing my nerves. Let's play music and calm down, and then we'll come back to second part of the show. I'm looking at uh, take this. Sad says happiness. That's what we need now. Featuring Atake and Ghana. Happiness. We need it. You know, in this country. Ah, now what for this? For us,
Yeah, so many issues going on.
so many.
When you go around the streets, you see the campaign going on, the list of achievements uh, in Yaba Metropolis, for instance. They have billboards
Mm,
of the achievements of this administration, and I look at sometimes I stand and I read through, and I'm wondering, so what impact has this got on, you know? I can't
mm.
seem to make a connection, and it bothers me, because I really wanted to see success and progress.
Yeah. Mm, yeah, you're right.
Did you see James Falke? He's
James.
the rep that is from Ikeja area. About a month ago, he did a empowerment program at the police college in Ikeja.
Who's that?
Faleke.
Oh, okay, James Faleke. Okay. No, I didn't hear. I didn't. Yeah, what
Oh
happened?
my God. He must have spent over 1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, cars, the buses, uh,
Mm,
the grounding machines, all kinds of things that he bought for his constituents.
mm,
Massive contribution. But, I felt offended. At a friend's office where I was lamenting. They were looking at me, wondering what is wrong, that what the guy did is good. And I said, yeah, it's good, but with that kind of money, you need to do
Cost of
something that will make a bigger impact on the lives of
yeah,
people. There are
something
other
sustainable.
things. Yeah.
Mm.
Put more cars on the road, more blending machines in shops. How does that really make a difference now? For
Mm.
instance, that Ikeja metropolis, if you put up a independent power project there and ensure that power there is 24 hours, non-stop, that would transform that environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I don't know why we are not really thinking.
Mm. I'm going back on there. We are not forward thinking. It's just on the razzmatazz, the noise, dividend of democracy kind of a thing. In quotes. We're still talking Nigeria. Niger trends, where we're talking issues affecting our country in the past. Indians outgoing, weak. This time you can join us. The number to call again is 0913 697 3485. We would love to hear from you. Our next story is about this issue that's affecting Nigerians in the diaspora. Nigeria's diaspora. Okay, before I go there, I got a call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Obi. Good morning. How are you this morning? Thank you.
But what I understand about these people, it's not results, they just get them that way. That means that after they just tell themselves and talk to you, authority to the solution, talk to themselves, and that they come to compromise or will be people that are going to talk. So you want to put the empathy,
Hmm.
condemn and it can be judged. I'll give you one from the if the other one from the then
Hello. Oh,
Have we lost him?
the,
We lost
yeah,
him.
I lost the voice. The little bit cracky. I didn't hear most of what he's saying, but he made his point about the ADC thing. They should go and sort themselves out and reach compromises to successfully them problem. And then about the police brutality was making was referring to a particular incident, but I didn't get that. It wasn't clear. If you're able to call back, would be nice with better voice on network, so to speak. Another issue we talk about consistently has to do with zoning within the party. I don't think APC had a problem. Palike that was just mentioned bought form for both Hamzat 50 million and the president 100 million. Hmm. They just yesterday or day before yesterday. Okay, there's a caller again. Hello, good morning. Good call. Yeah, this is clearer now. This is clearer now. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
you're very passionate and like your brother, you're finished.
I'm gone. Yeah.
So you know to shoot a bomb in the air.
Hmm.
Yeah, the criminals that shot on the
Hmm.
what kind of money the most part?
It is. It is.
They give them life of life from 400
I was referring to the fellow we were talking about that shot the handcuffed guy in the head.
We
I
only,
understand.
what I read last was that he's been moved to Abuja for the what did they call it, the trial room thing they do for police.
Yeah. After they finish their own, they should pass him to the civil court. He needs to.
Mm.
He shouldn't be in the midst of human beings again. I mean, that was terrible. That was very very bad, very very bad. Okay, let's move on as we expect more calls to reflect on some of the things we are talking about. Nigeria's Diaspora Commission has warned that xenophobic attacks in South Africa are worsening, with Nigerians reportedly living in fear. The agency is urging stronger protection, increased policing, and prosecution of offenders, while rejecting the stereotyping of Nigerians and calling for renewed diplomatic efforts to safeguard citizens abroad. And I've been wondering, the other day, the Ghanaian president, I mean, Federal Ministry of Information, summoned the South African diplomat. What have we done? I haven't heard anything. Did we summon anybody? The other day, the people went to protest in the consulate. I mean, the High Commission of South Africa, and the ambassador refused to come out. Then she was scared for her life. You know, and I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm sure
We,
you have
we
seen all those things.
Yeah, I was following it. One thing I love about America is if you put your finger on an American anywhere in the world, they will come for
Mm,
you. And I wonder why we
yeah.
can't replicate that in Nigeria, even if it's within Africa. We call ourselves the
Yeah.
giant of Africa, for heaven's sake. Why do we allow people to suffer such indignities in our own continent? I,
It's
I, I and
funny
I'm
because I
sad
saw
about the head of the Diaspora Commission. The lady has been involved in all
yeah.
kinds of utterances online that is sad. You know, you're a federal officer, you shouldn't descend to that level. You should be seen more to be projecting outwards and talking about Nigerians as a whole. If you see
Mm,
the kind of things Nigerians go through, when I used to travel, I used to have a lot of issues at airports. There was a story of a
yeah.
young man who took a mannequin's head to Dubai. A mannequin's head. He was harassed at the airport. He was treated as a drug suspect. They x-rayed the head. They couldn't find any drugs. At a point, they said they have to dissect it. After dissecting it, they still couldn't find any drugs, and they left the man in detention. And we did nothing as a nation. I felt so bad.
That's terrible. And it's replicated in many other countries. Supposedly, people caught with drugs or caught with one contaminant or what's it called, concealments and things that are banned and all that. And they'll be there languishing. You see them sending note to home, and they've been there 9 years, 12 years, and all that. We're not doing anything about it. I don't think we care about human life in this country. I don't think. I mean, and this is not just about government. Even the people are people themselves on the road. You see the way we behave with one another, the way we treat one another, as if we don't care whether what happened to them. You know, so far our own, I mean, we are cool with our own, or our children, or our family are okay. We don't seem to care about other people, and it's a wrong thing. It's a very bad action. You know. Ah, I mean, if we consider what we have done to South Africa, if we consider what sacrifice we have made, lives that have been lost in service of getting them into the apartheid regime and of
Yeah.
saving them from oppression, and
During
now
apartheid, we did a lot for them
you
during
know,
apartheid.
it is, I mean, the president came here was thanking God. We housed We have some of their fugitives here to protect them from the onslaught of the apartheid regime and all that. We did so much for who we thought were brothers, and now they are beating people, taking over their shop, looting their. I saw some. They were just kicking the guy. Punch. I hope. I pray that he didn't die. They were just beating them up, locking. I mean, kicking their shop, opening and stealing things. He said, "Listen, you have taken your job. What jobs? Don't stop you from working." They probably take cheaper wages and all that, and work harder. And you're coming, you're doing, please, I advise Nigerians over there, please. I know it's difficult. Try and find your life is more important than your good. Find ways to get out of that place. Yeah, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Obi. Yeah, good morning.
Like the best of that let's say now, I was here 6 years ago. And when we do the second season, that's what we say the beginning of the day. It don't take like 50 minutes to tell you today. After from there, I traveled to Mozambique. So basically, it was like 50 minutes. One thing, I was in the gym. We used to train in the gym. We are so the little business. Somebody here at their back. So that was the little way that I stood at the back. In fact, never. I was the way to my friend to hit he couldn't carry it actually on the name I'm a Nigerian. The way he shouted that I wanted to help somebody that he know what it is. See, the what I'm trying to say here, this lady say me for my work. I don't think that the child lady knows what to do. That lady, the way what comes out of her mouth, she speaks nonsense out of her mouth. She good nonsense out of her mouth. She doesn't behave like somebody who is working for Nigeria. I don't know whether she thinks she's working for herself. Someone that will be great Nigerian. Like people say, when your son does something, you protect him. So where you come from, that person.
Yeah.
So this one will be great Nigerian. Like, make us even the case will tell you. What I'm suggesting here, this is our government work, because other countries have come to South Africa. They have gone to bring their people back. They have come to do something. The internal affairs, what do you call the ambassadors, the Nigeria speaking for it. Let us stop using MTN. Let us stop using GoTV. Let us stop because the Rebel sponsor is the owner of them. They are making billions out of money. What are we making in South Africa? This is the private informal sector, small business that are making 1,000.
Yeah.
Dollars here, and I'm making us. Let us stop all those things. We will not use the MTN. We will not die. Nigerians don't like to suffer. We will not sleep. We don't want to we will not die.
Yes.
That's my suggestion.
Yes, thank you, Obi. Yes, I hope you heard him, Alex. He was lamenting about the antics
Yeah,
of
I did.
yeah, no, and his suggestion is that we should also boycott South African goods here and products and all that. Because I mean, what they are fighting against is an informal sector there. The people doing their bits and pieces to make life easy for their family. Here they have multi-million-dollar businesses that are soaring because Nigerians are patronizing, and they are choking us out and all that. Now we should mention about foreign affairs, and we'll complain about what are they doing. Well, a new person is. I think the Suga, who was the former foreign minister, was more interested in uh, political power sharing and politics, and now he's gone to look for what do you call it? Whether he can get the office I was looking for, whatever it is he's looking for. So now the president has appointed Ambassador Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu as Minister of Foreign Affairs, following the resignation of Yusuf Tuga. The move is part of the effort to strengthen Nigeria's foreign policy, with the new Minister of State also nominated to support strategic global engagement. Yeah, I hope Bianca will step forward and be forthright. This South African thing, we need to make. I mean, a chap was on the platform day before yesterday or yesterday, and was talking about there's an agenda. Some people are setting them against them. The opposition leader to Balema, what's his name? vitrolic opposition leader, Baleba or something, has also opposed the xenophobia. And people, right-thinking South Africans appear to be against it, but they are not the problem. The problems are the rack and file on the streets. I saw some, they were wearing the war dresses and the costumes and all that, and shouting on the road and threat. I mean, how do you? I, I don't know. If you don't want people to go, just tell them to go. You don't need to kill people or destroy people to make your point. I think our foreign ministry should stand up and make themselves first, and then make room. I mean, evacuation processes available for Nigerians who want to flee that country. Because at the point you can't stick it, you got to get out. And how do you get out when the roads are weaponized and people are waiting to harm you, wreak havoc on your property and family? Nigeria, please arise and help our compatriots in South Africa and everywhere that they are in endangered environment. Do something. Do something now. Ah, is Alex there? Can you hear
I'm
me?
here, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Now, one more story on. We are running off this particular section now. Yeah. Just before the May 1st statement, the president says attempts to exploit insecurity to force him from office will fail, insisting he will seek re-election. He warned that those instigating violence will face decisive action, while also backing a new Plateau Peace committee to deliver a lasting solution to recurring arrests. He also approved 2 billion naira in relief for victims of the Angwarukuba attack in Plateau State. Uh, Alex, I mean, it's not an open, it's not a hidden thing that the president is interested in re-election. What's
Mm.
the article it took about certain people using insecurity as a prop to agitate the minds of the people? Government, the governments know all these people. We saw a couple of months ago the so-called list of suspected sponsors of terrorism. What are they doing about them? You remember on this show, Commodore I can't remember his name now, came on to say as far back as Buhari's regime, before Buhari's civilian regime, that they gave them lists of sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria, and nothing came out of it. No arrests were made, no investigation followed suit that we know about. It's as if they're untouchable. How do you identify sponsors, so-called sponsors of terrorism, and then they, I beg your pardon, and then they are left untouched, uninvestigated, unpersecuted, and life seems to be going on while insecurity is soaring. It doesn't make sense, right?
It's all about politics. Politics. If
Mm,
the people who are so-called sponsors are in very delicate or significant positions, either economically or politically, or they have strong influence on a very large proportion of a group. If you look at it from a political perspective, you hesitate before you make strong moves, especially if you're seeking re-election. That's the way I see it. We have a phrase, they say, don't heat up the polity because you're seeking for something in there. So I think it all boils down to politics. Knowing them is one thing, being able to take decisive action without truncating your own ambition is another.
So are we suggesting that you juxtapose your personal political ambition vis-a-vis the lives and property of Nigeria? I don't. No, I don't.
Sadly,
Alex,
that's how politicians think. That's how politicians think. And that is why you find a lot of presidents and governors seem to be more hardlining in their second term than they are in their first. They look at that, okay, I have nothing to lose. I can do all sorts. Okay, you saw, for instance, the Soludo solution, the man in Anambra State. See him threatening to shut down markets in Anambra if they don't do what he told them to do. He only did that after he was re-elected. He dare not do that in his first term, you know?
So we have to be praying for the incumbent to come back for the second term so I can do something.
If the incumbent comes back, I assure you, you will wonder, you will be amazed that is this the same man? I can tell you, I can predict what will happen.
But Buhari had his second term. It wasn't as if anything spectacular happened.
Well, with Buhari, there were a lot of issues. Was he really on ground? Did he really understand what was going on? Half the time, sorry to say, he was ill. He was outside the country. And he was not in touch with things that were going on. See the amount of atrocities that occurred under him. When he left, you saw the things that came out. The Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, I'm not sure her issue has been resolved. The man in charge of aviation who created the fake Nigeria Airways. And there are so others like that. Under him, all that was happening.
I'm nonplussed. I'm just worried because the level of insecurity and it's creeping downward.
Yeah.
Look at our topography. It's creeping downward, and we appear helpless. You know, they say they go and rescue some. Some will claim they paid ransom. Some will say it was police effort or the military effort. And the military are so stretched. They are all over the place. They come out like vermin out of the woodwork. And oh my! If your analysis is true, then we are in for a rough ride. We're in for a rough ride. And okay, let me give you one more story, and then I will call it a day. It's worrisome. Some of the issues we are seeing. The politicians have to have a second term so that they will have the leverage to deal with issues that ordinarily will afflict Nigerians. Okay. Now this is the last bit. I don't know we don't have much details, but some of the things that are coming out from the trial is well, I don't know how to say. A military witness has told the Federal High Court how intelligence uncovered an alleged coup plot linking suspects to meetings, financial transactions, and operational plans. Evidence presented includes documents, bank records, and digital communications set to online strategies for regime change with further hearing scheduled. I don't know if you read the story. Very long story about all kinds of. I mean, they're talking about 100 million, 50 million, like in 5, 6, 7. I was calculating the money, and it came to almost 700 million that they have
Wow.
captured about that was being moved around supposedly for the success of this maddening attempt or whatever, as a civilian regime. Did you read up on that?
No, I didn't see that story.
Oh, it was all over the place. I was surprised. I thought they were going to do like a military trial and all that, but they were in open court. Though they
The military were
covered the
denying these
names
things.
of the ah no, they themselves said they are starting their court martial. I think it was planned for May, but I'm just surprised at some of the revelations in this the open court. It's novel. Some of the issues being mentioned, names being you know they are mentioning
Yeah,
former prime minister. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Former Timi Timi Timi
things that
what's
have
his
to
name?
do with
DPA organization.
intelligence and military are normally covert. They don't bring them to the open.
Yeah, phone taps, discussions between seven lieutenant colonels and it was quite surprising. Not all these bloggers or anything like that. Okay,
Well, maybe
anyway,
part of the strategy is to get
maybe
sympathy from the public.
they are resuming this in a couple of.
Hey, I've lost him. What happened?